Is your friend acting out of sorts, or is he or she possessed? Let's find out.
I'll tell you this, it's always in the eyes. It's always in the eyes. The eyes never lie. You can tell someone's possessed looking into their eyes. They will quite literally look dead inside. Their eyes will look different. Their eyes will eventually shift. Usually they get dark, they get black. Sometimes not, but you will see a change in the eyes. And if you know that person well, if you know that person's eyes quite well, trust your intuition. If you feel something's not right, you will always see it in the eyes.
She does make a good point there. If you think about it, every time you see a wild, crazy person, they do seem to have messed up eyes. A lot of times they look like they're half there, half in another world. If you know anybody if you've ever seen anybody that's in that stage, let us know down below.
If y'all could see what I see spiritually, you'll see why the fuck I stay away from people. A lot of y'all are so filled with demons, and y'all don't even know it. You live in it. You comfortable in it.
People definitely need Jesus, no doubt about it.
How do you know someone is possessed? There are many ways to know. In my experience, when you get into a session with someone who is truly demonically possessed, one way is that the smell, there is a demonic smell, a stench. Another way is the atmosphere changes. The atmosphere changes. You feel darkness, you feel heaviness in the room, and I will explain this in details at some point. And one of the ways as well is the looks in the person's eyes. Someone who just came smiling and then suddenly the looks in their eyes just change. The posture changes. If you have spiritual authority, godly spiritual authority, it becomes very hard for the person to look straight in the eyes. And because you stand like a light. There are many ways that you know that someone is demonically possessed.
You know, here's the interesting thing. Sometimes you'll see people and they have a natural glow of pleasantness about them. And other times you'll see them, especially after maybe they've been drinking, and you can literally see that devil come out of them. If you've ever been in a weird situation where you saw somebody turn from really decent, good person Joey to evil Joey, let me know.
Women and men know something. If y'all ain't following the Most High, I'm definitely going to assume you demonic, demonized, all type of stuff. And the people that are following the Most High, y'all need to get right now, because time is very near. And I wanted to say, like, y'all women and men that's dealing with these significant others and all type of, they evil and all that stuff, them people, y'all not dealing with no average people. Y'all are dealing with demons. I'm telling you, these people are demons, demonic. They're demonic. I'm telling you, baby. Y'all better know who y'all playing with, baby, because this is not, this world is not average anymore. It never was, but it's to the 10th power now. That these demons is running around. That's why the Most High stays saying his word. He said the enemy is out seeking who he can devour.
Yep, amen.
Man, I see demons jump in and out of people all day, every day. I'm telling you, I'm gonna give you one instance. I was at the airport, and I was in line, but they called the people to put their it was too many people on the flight, so all their luggage wasn't gonna fit over the overhead compartment. So know how they call you to the side to get your bags put on the airplane before you board or whatever, under the airplane before you board. So I'm sitting right there. I'm not finna I got a bag, a duffel, so I'm taking it with me. I can put it up under the seat. So I'm asking, I get in line, then I go up to the counter and ask the lady, I'm like,
where the hell is she driving? Can you hear this action? Her car is shaking like she's driving through the pit of hell right now.
I was finna ask her a question, and she's like, don't you see all these people in line and all this stuff? And I'm looking like those people are for over there, but I ain't say nothing. I just I looked at her, I gave her that look like, hey, like, and then I just, you know, calm down, cause like the most high, I want to be slow to anger. You know, I don't want to let nobody control me, cause he who angers you controls you, and that's a fact. Okay, so I stepped to the back of the line. Let me cut on my line. I stepped to the back of the line, but the line was for the packaging thing. And my sister, she was with me. She comes out the bathroom, and she walks up to the lady. The lady talking to her just as nice. So I walked up and I looked at her, and she didn't pay me no attention. And then when my sister said, sis, she said, sis, what you wanted to ask her? Because I didn't tell my sister nothing about what was going on. She just asked me, did I want to ask her a question? And I was like, yeah. Then I get to asking her. Then she wanted to start acting nice. Like, she wanted to start, I like your nails and all that. I looked at her like, girl, these people are full of fuck. There was a whole demon trying to provoke me to anger. I'm telling y'all, these people,
So one thing that I've noticed is these people are talking about ugly things that we see. Sometimes it's easy to see the ugly side of people, the ugly demon. But I would argue that the real scary ones are the pretty, beautiful demons. If you know what I'm talking about, give me a thumbs up.
You know, a little seriously. So someone had tagged me in a comment on someone's page about how he's seeing things everywhere, right? Like out the corner of his eyes. And somebody, excuse me, I'm super geeking right now. Out the corner of his eyes. And I was responding. But as I responded, it hit me, you guys. CERN, it was CERN. Everyone since CERN has been talking about, ooh, you guys, ooh. Everyone said.
I have been hearing that CERN released demons. Did you guys hear about this? Supposedly, when they were kind of taking a look at what happens when they put these particles together at these speeds of light, right? Supposedly, they've opened up some different portals and demons have kind of shown themselves, or at least I think that's what the story was trying to say. But I don't know if I believe that. If you think there's something evil about CERN, let me know.
Said nothing was going to happen. We don't need to mark our doors. Okay. Tell me people aren't acting crazier right now.
They are.
Tell me collectively, people are not acting crazier right now. Tell me you're not seeing more things out the corner of your eyes. Oh, like, I know it's hard to draw a straight line, but I'm telling you, when I knew, okay, so 3 exotic particles came through the LHC, right? 3 exotic particles. Now, at the same time, before I found out about these exotic particles, I had gotten a message that 3 fallen angels. Okay, so basically a darker entity. The semantics aside, you guys, okay. And what I was being told, and I posted videos about this, right? What I was being told was that they released something and that these somethings would need to integrate into us slowly for us to, or for them to take possession in the way that they needed to ultimately combine again into these 3 beings. Okay. But those of you who have been doing channeling work with me, have you noticed that I want to talk to the seers because I can see so much more. I see people in their true form more. Like, people have human skins, but like the insides, the consciousness, and I have not met a human consciousness yet. I know how that sounds. Okay.
So I don't really know too much about this particular TikToker, but if she's doing channeling and stuff and talking with the other side, I'm of the belief that you should leave that stuff alone.
You guys, I'm having a little spiritual meltdown right now. Because seriously, I think the reason that I'm seeing so much is because there's more here. I think the reason why I'm seeing like spiritual parasites on people in a way, or energetic parasites in a way I've never seen. Like, I'm seeing new attachments on people that I've never seen before. And it finally dawned on me. I thought, you guys, I very arrogantly thought, like, yes, my power has expanded tremendously. And so that's true to an extent. But what I think is there's just more here. It's just more crowded now. And, what they're talking about. Sorry, guys. They're pointing to like 2 dimensions merging. I've been talking about this though. I'm so mad at myself for not seeing this full thing. Oh, that does make sense. We're overlapping in some weird way. And that's why the energy feels so strange. I think that's why food tastes, everything would be off just a little bit. You guys, I really want to go on live now, but I want to take a nap. I want to take a nap. Ooh.
So a lot of people think that the Mandela effect is this little overlapping. Why do some of us remember things differently than others? And why are there so many of us that remember these things differently? If there's any specific Mandela effect that you like, let me know down below. The favorite one that I always think about is the one involving Ed McMahon. Supposedly, he never worked at Publishers Clearinghouse, yet almost all of us remember him holding up the Publishers Clearinghouse check. If you remember him holding it up, write Publishers Clearinghouse down below.
I wanted to talk to you about signs that you're dealing with a demon possessed individual. Okay, so I wanted to go over, there's like maybe 4 or 5 things that will tell you you're absolutely dealing with demons. And I know this because I've dealt with it myself, and I've actually unmasked them and saw faces on them. So I know that they come with these certain things. And I also know that humanity operates to a certain degree, a certain level than somebody who's a demon possessed individual. And there's going to be multiple things that come with a demon possessed individual. But what you're going to find is these few things are going to be ways that you don't ever need to second guess that you're dealing with somebody that has an Enfield demon.
All right, let's hear this.
And it will be these first 2 things, which are major, is pathological lying and cheating. When you're dealing with a pathological liar and a pathological cheater.
So let's break that down a little bit. A lot of us see our cheating exes as that lying pathological cheater. And I think one of the reasons we equate that with evil is because we look at the love that we give others and we say, hey, if that's reciprocated, I should be feeling a different feeling than what my ex gave me. And a lot of times when exes start cheating, right, they become that cheater. A lot of times they have to feed that cheating with lies, right? Because you have to create this web of lies so that your significant other doesn't think about your cheating. But the reality is, if you really love somebody, you would let them go and then move on rather than cheating on them and trying to keep your significant other in your life. It's one of those evils that a lot of people are susceptible to. And a lot of the people that are famous for cheating are actually heads of churches, right?
Okay. Then you're dealing with a demon possessed individual. I know this.
Lust.
Next is going to be somebody who has no accountability. Somebody who can never admit to anything, never apologize,
They are
and
the
never
worst.
accept the fact that they were wrong. And if they give an apology, it's going to be a weak one.
They are the worst. I think we can all agree there.
The next thing is going to be, messy and confusing. Almost from the jump. You're talking about from the jump of the relationship, situationship, friendship, partnership, whatever it is. You're going to have messiness and confusion. I mean, you're not even going to be able to get sometimes where they live without a lot of confusing details, or what they did in the past without a lot of confusing details. Meaning there's going to be so many things that they're lying about that they're hiding and making up that, it's just a word salad. Everything that they talk about, it's almost like you can't even get anything clear from that. It's just everything is confusing.
So once again, he's talking about the obvious, right? If somebody's weird right off the bat, God did give you a brain and intellect and reason. You should be able to kind of steer clear of those. The ones that, once again, I think are the scary ones are the ones that come like a wolf in sheep's clothing. We've all met that wonderful, beautiful person that ends up turning from an angel into our own personal devil. There's a lot of demons out there and a lot of things we have to work out in our own lives. And one of the best ways you can make the world out there feel better in here is to become a better version of yourself and work on the man or woman in the mirror. So why don't you and I do that together right here, right now? Go get your shoes. Let's go for a walk. Hi, Venters. Let's have a fun talk. It's about a serious, bad subject involving death, like usual. But let's have a fun talk with it because this one also involves a demon. A demon. Guys, I want you to look at this person's face. Do they look like somebody named Jason Thornburg? Be honest. Look at their face again. There's never, if you were going to guess what their first and last name was, you would never in a million years think Jason Thornburg. But that just goes to show you that everything in this world can be shocking, even though nothing seems to shock us anymore. This guy, Jason Thornburg, is guilty, or excuse me, alleged to have killed 3 people in the name of sacrifice. He had a demon possession, so to speak. Back in 2017, he killed his girlfriend somewhere here in Arizona. And then in 2021, he took out his roommate and he was storing their bodies underneath his bed in the place that he was staying. And then he finally ended up setting them on fire. And then he got rid of them somewhere in a Fort Worth dumpster. He admitted to investigators that he had done this and even ate some of their flesh, again, all in the name of sacrifice. You know, there's a lot of people out there that don't believe in God, and I can understand where you're coming from, but there is one thing that definitely does exist, and it's the devil, and it possesses a lot of people, and a lot of people end up doing these weird things. Now, we don't hear about this sacrifice and demon possession too much here in North America, but if you look at people in South and Central America, there's a lot of people that have dealt with Santeria. Do you remember that movie called The Believers with Martin Sheen way back in the 80s? That dealt with Santeria. That's where they would take like a chicken and cut off the chicken head and drop blood on the pentagram, right? So again, even though you might not believe in religion or faith or God, there's a lot of people out there that do believe not only in good, but in evil. Now, this happened in Tarrant County, and I guess right now the reason it was on YouTube is the Tarrant County jury there in Texas are contemplating whether to give Jason life in prison or the death penalty. My thinking is, as long as he's gone out of our sight forever, that's better than nothing, right? And just the idea that he took out these people and was just kind of holding on to their body, and he even ate some of it. Eek. And I might have said that wrong earlier. If I did, let me say it the right way. He killed his girlfriend in the state of Arizona back in 2017, which means at one time he was walking the streets here in Arizona. And then he killed his roommate in 2021 in a suspicious home explosion. You know, sometimes they will show pictures. I literally just saw a picture, I believe this morning, where they were showing a home explode. And I think it was in Philadelphia, but I'm not exactly sure. But either way, they showed this explosion. And man, they look so powerful. And apparently his roommate in 2021 perished in one of these explosions. But now they're saying it was suspicious. So for all we know, he killed him and then had the place explode, or maybe he set off the explosion himself. Either way, I think we've all met people that are a little weird and a little demented. Sometimes people take weird and demented out the window. And in the case of this Jason guy, his defense is insanity. At least that's what his defense team is trying to get him life in prison with, insanity. Apparently they don't want him to go through the death penalty. Now my thinking is, I think he deserves the death penalty, but at the same time, you know, he did have mental illness, and there's a lot of us that believe if you have mental illness, then, you know, that's something that we should at least take into account. So here's my question for you. Do you guys think somebody that takes 3 lives and has kind of a demon sacrifice, do you think that person would deserve life or death? Let us know down in the comments. Maybe don't say death in the comments, put delete. Because God knows we're not allowed to talk normally on this platform. In case you're wondering, I actually missed my walk this morning because I had something that I haven't experienced in quite a few years. Last night I tried going to bed around 12:30, and for whatever reason I just was not tired, and I basically didn't sleep all of yesterday. So this morning, instead of hopping up and going on my morning walk, I just kind of laid on my bed until I had to start work. So I'm one of these guys that, especially at my age, I just don't like not sleeping. When I was a teenager, I used to think it was the coolest thing to stay up all hours of the night and not sleep. I no longer feel that way, trust me. If you ever suffer from insomnia, you know it's no fun. Let me know down below so I know I'm not the only one that was suffering. At Fernando Garcia says, shaking my head, there's a lot of people like this in the world doing these ritualistic sacrifices. And I totally agree. Again, it's one of those things where there might not be too many people doing it here in North America or Canada, but as you go through Central and South America, you'll probably see a lot of people that kind of delve into this black magic, witchcraft, different things like that. I remember when I was little, there was such a taboo about this. Like I said, I saw this movie called The Believers. I think it was called The Believers. And I just remember they would take the chicken and drop the blood on the pentagram, and it just gave me the creeps. To this day, whenever I hear about people delving in Satanism and stuff, kind of freaks me out. And yes, I know there's those people that are like, Satan is just about joy and sex and, you know, sounds like a good time, but if Satan's involved, it's not a good time if you ask me. 1,000 Hours at the Library, that's a great name, says, I think it's time to take healthcare reform seriously. Mental health issues could be caught so much sooner and given help before things like this start to happen. You know, it's interesting because there's part of me that agrees with you, because I had an Uncle David growing up that was schizophrenic, and when he was on his medication, he seemed like a great guy, very normal, very calm. But right when he got off his medication, he slowly but surely became a devil. And once he kind of flipped that switch, it was really hard wanting to even talk with him, because it was literally like you were talking to a demon. At that same time, if he would have done something foul, like let's say delete somebody's life, right? Or done something, you know, where he's beating up a bunch of people, I don't think you should keep your mental illness as an excuse for doing bad things. Because if you know that you're mentally ill, you should also know that you need to stay on your vacation. Yeah, your vacation from reality. You need to stay on your medication. And that's just honestly how I feel. Nobody here would want to give somebody a free pass if they took out our friends or family members and, oh, by the way, they were out of their mind. Well, I think to kill somebody, you have to be somewhat out of your mind no matter how you look at it, right? So my thinking is, if you know that you're ill, if you know that you have mental illness, if you do anything bad to people, I think you should still face the same punishment. So again, there seems to be a weird thing with mental illness where a lot of times the people don't necessarily want to stay on their medication. So yeah, that's a tough deal. But here's the thing. whether you're mentally ill or not, and maybe there's different levels, but out of all the mentally ill people I've ever met, I don't think any of them were like, hey, let's sacrifice somebody and eat them, you know. So can a murderer have mental illness? I think that can happen. Is he murdering solely because of his mental illness? I don't know, because like there's legitimate people that like to sacrifice animals and stuff, and there's some cruel people out there. I don't know if they all have mental illness. Maybe you venters can weigh in on this. There's a piece of me that says, yeah, you got to be mentally ill to kill somebody, but is everybody that kills somebody mentally ill? I don't think so. Triple Digits says, why are they trying to save his life? See, that's the thing that blows me away, Triple Digits. We spend so much darn money just to make sure that the bad guy is the bad guy, and we don't want to throw the bad guy away, right? But at the same time, we let so many bad guys out, you know? And it's like, golly, I don't think we need to let people live 20 or 30 extra years so that in 20 or 30 years, they're going before the parole board begging to get out again. I don't know if you guys saw this, and I forget her name, but there was a lady that killed her 2 kids, back in the 80s or 90s. And recently she's come up for parole. And I think I just heard that they denied her. I'm sure you guys have heard about this too. My thinking is you can't bring back the dead. And if you played God and took somebody out, you just don't deserve another chance of coming out. Now, with regards to this guy, does he have to get the death penalty, or can he stay there forever? You know, if it were my family members, I would want him to have the death penalty. I guess since it's not my family members, I'm not going to cry if he gets the life in prison treatment. How do you guys feel? Dustin Miller says, hell is empty and the devils are all here. See, if that's true, Dustin, then we might truly be heading towards the end of the world, right? This might be those last days. And if we're a part of those last days, that makes us a special group of people. But at the same time, who wants to be around for the end of the world, you know? But the reality is, I really feel a sense of dread at what the country's becoming. Because as I've been doing this show, I've started to realize that if we wanted to get rid of crime, all you have to do is quit giving people a third, fourth, and fifth chance. Because let's say somebody has done 9 things on their rap sheet, which a lot of people that we've been talking about have, right? That means that there were 9 crimes that could have been eliminated. So if you multiply that out by every single bad guy out there that keeps getting let off into the community, then it sounds to me like if you really wanted to, we could cut crime by probably 80 or 90% by just deciding as a people that we're not going to give people 34th and 35th chances anymore. Now, here's my serious question for you guys. If we stopped recidivism at its starting block and didn't let it go like it does, and we literally got rid of 90% of the murders and the heinous crimes out there, wouldn't that really make life on Earth just borderline magical? Could you imagine if every neighborhood you went to had very little crime? What would that do to the bad neighborhoods? It would double their value overnight. Why? Because people could move there without fear of losing their life. What if we got rid of 90% of the assault cases overnight? It would make those bad neighborhoods good neighborhoods overnight. That's the thing that gets me. It's not brand new virgins to crime that are doing all the mischief. It's people that are doing offense number 5, 6, 10. For example, with this Jason guy, he killed 3 people, but one of the people that he killed was his girlfriend here in Arizona back in 2017. You know, that means that this guy is not just, let's say he was caught for that. That's one offense. Then he kills his roommate in 2021. And now apparently he killed a 3rd person here recently. That's somebody that's literally, if we would have stopped him at crime number 1, there would literally be 2 extra people on the planet today. And it just seems to me like we could easily stop 90% of the crime, literally 90% of the crime, by just not giving these people any more third or fourth chances. Please, somebody give me an amen there. Alexandra Bug says, that man was a huge dopehead. He lived in that hotel for years. He was not nice either. Glad he's not around Euless, Texas anymore. So right there, that says a lot. He's a dopehead. So not only did he have mental illness, if he had mental illness at all, but he was feeding it with dope, with these drugs. Isn't that a choice people make? Do all people that are dealing with mental illness dive into a bunch of drugs? No. So why should we make that an excuse for people to kill people? And again, it seems a little unfair that some people do get the death penalty and some people don't. Right? We want justice to be blind, but we don't want it to be blind, deaf, dumb, and stupid, right? So my thinking is, why don't we just make it where if you take a life, you have to give a life? And again, if you start to do these heinous things and you give people one extra chance, okay, you messed up, we're going to let you get a chance to redeem yourself. But once you've been doing it 3 or 4 times, if we just cut it off, hi, how are you? If we cut it off, you would have a situation where literally crime would cease to exist. And also there's a lot of people that think they can get away with crime, but because we've got so many cold cases on the books, it's hard for us to even get to these criminals. There's so many people that are ahead of them in line. Arizona has literally a bunch of kits. You know what happens when women get taken advantage of against their will? They have a bunch of kits that they haven't even gotten to, like literally hundreds. They showed it on the news the other day. I don't know about you, but that's a shame, right? So I'm hoping that I don't have insomnia tonight. Hopefully I can sleep well. One of the things I like to tell people is that if you do walk every day and try to eat well, you usually don't suffer from insomnia. And I don't know what happened that gave it to me. Probably all these damn phone calls. Golly. Do any of you venters agree with me that if we could just get rid of crime number 3 through 10, like a lot of these people are guilty of, then that would obviously kill about 80% of the crime that happens? And then what would happen if every neighborhood was just free of murderers, free of people that commit assault and battery on people, free of people that thieved and stuff? If we could get rid of all these crimes, make it where they no longer exist, you would have a situation where, my God, the country would just be so enjoyable. Could you imagine? There would not be one neighborhood that you couldn't go out to at night. They would all be safe. I know it sounds like a dystopian movie. Are we going to try Jesse's way? Is Jesse going to become king and make the world a better place? You know what I think? I think if you got rid of all the bad guys tomorrow, I think this time next week you'd have new people taking their place. There's something about the fish tank when you get rid of the alpha fish. The other fishes, some of them become alphas, right? Because now they need to replace the alpha. If you got rid of all crime today, there's a good chance that people that would never commit crime would start committing crime tomorrow. It's weird how kind of things take the place of others. I don't even know if that makes sense. I haven't slept for a day. Anyway, I want you guys to have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Keep walking, don't ever stop, and for goodness sake, can you guys hit the thumbs up button? Thank you. Bye.